As kids head back to school this week, it's also a reminder for parents to make sure you know what your children are doing outside the classroom. Here's Elias Johnson with a Local 5 exclusive opioid intervention.
You know, it's hard to imagine something as simple as a pill bottle having such a huge impact on the lives of so many across the nation. The opioid epidemic is indeed a huge problem. Here in Iowa, it is as well. Tonight, the stories of two families devastated by this disease and what's being done here in Iowa to save lives. There's a place along Walnut Creek Mark Richards finds peace.
Just thinking about Anna, and there'll be deer running around. You'll see beautiful ducks and geese and birds and all kinds of things.
Every step a chance to heal.
Hi there.
Much like every step inside his home serves as a reminder of the daughter he lost.
This is my study, and as you can see, there's a painting of her. And really, to be honest, that's not too far away from how she looked when she died. And I mean, does that look like a heroin addict to you?
Anna was 21 when her addiction to heroin took her life, an ending set in motion a little more than a year prior to her death as a college student taking the opioid oxycodone.
And I believe, we think anyway, that she got a hold of an opioid pill somewhere. And then it basically spiraled from there, more or less. Yeah.
Mark says he'll never forget that day he learned the truth about Anna's secret drug use while living at their home.
I just knew something wasn't quite right. And so one day when she was not here, I was going through her room and I found I'll never forget this. I found a box of used syringes and spoons and caked on heroin. And that's when we knew it was a serious, serious problem.
After accepting she had a problem, Anna spent the next year in and out of counseling and special treatment programs, her final stop being at a highly recommended center in Las Vegas, where she made progress for 2 weeks.
She walked out of the treatment center and OD'd within a day of leaving the treatment center in Las Vegas.
I'm just gonna go home and chill tonight. I might go to a meeting, actually. It's probably what I should do.
Ryan McMahon walked the same path Anna was on for years during college. His addiction started with marijuana and alcohol before moving on to opioid pills.
Any chance I could get, to get my hands on it, I was, taking opioids because of the numbing effect is, I think, for other people I've talked to as well, the numbing effect of opioids is extremely addictive. Unfortunately, there's a huge difference between knowing there's a problem and then taking that action to really do something about it to help.
Like most families who cope with a loved one's addiction, Ryan's mom, Mary Pat, was left watching her son spiral into depression caused by addiction that she was inadvertently helping.
I thought, and I'm sure other people do too, is that if I don't give him the money and he ends up dead, then it's on me. It's on me.
Years of trying treatment programs ended in relapse. Unable to find a solution, they came across Tom Vasquez, an intervention counselor with Turning Point, whose two-step approach was Ryan's last shot.
I mean, it has to start with the family, someone intervening on that person's life and helping them. Because once someone's on opioids, they cannot differentiate true from the false. Their mind has been changed to the point that they can't comprehend time sometimes. They may, the bottle says take 2 every 4 hours. They might start taking 4 every 2 hours.
When I met Tom, either it was make a decision to get onto the path of sobriety or die. And one of the first questions that he asked me was, are you ready to try something different?
The difference this time was a tough love approach by the family to ensure Ryan stayed on track while receiving counseling services from Tom.
Things as simple as, not giving them money, not letting them stay at the home anymore, having to find their own place, taking their vehicle away if they own their vehicle, taking them off the insurance, which is always a hard thing for families to do. Just cutting them off, not letting them participate in family functions. That would be very difficult. I totally understand that. But yet, it's what has to be done. It's what's proven that needs to be done for that person to wake up and get some type of help for their issue.
It was really important because I probably would have given him the money.
The hardest thing is going to be to take that first step and reach out and get onto a path of recovery. But I must add, it has been easily the most rewarding.
With this legislation, we are taking the first step to reverse this heart-wrenching trend.
In May 2018, Governor Kim Reynolds signed Iowa's first piece of legislation into law with the intent to curb opioid abuse by pre-screening patients before doctors prescribe opioids, electronic tracking of prescriptions, and protection for anyone who calls 911 to report an overdose.
I understand addiction. I've dealt with addiction. My family has dealt with addiction, so I understand it's not easy. You know, it really isn't. And we need to make sure that we are providing resources to help people that are suffering from addiction and hopefully get in front of it so that we can prevent kids and people even getting addicted.
103 Iowans died from an opioid overdose in 2017. That's up from 86 in 2016, while 206 died from opioid-related deaths compared to 180 the year before. Nationally, Iowa represents a small percentage of the over 72,000 total deaths from opioid overdose reported by the CDC. But trends still show more people in Iowa are abusing the drugs and dying as a result each year.
It's something that I believe that is going to continue to be an issue, and especially if, you know, no matter what we do legislatively, I mean, there has to be some type of intervention.
And the uptick of clients each month also means an increase in funerals for Tom, for those unable to break free from the addiction.
So far this year, I've been to 7 opioid-related funerals. My hope for the future is I can help more people and attend less funerals. You know, I mean, that's my hope.
You know, I always look back to see if I could have done something differently. But the real tragedy is who's left behind. You know, she has a brother and 2 sisters, family members. We'll never be the same. And so the tragedy is beyond the addict. The tragedy are the families that get left behind. They have to pick up the pieces and deal with this. Not on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. That's how we deal with it, on an hourly basis. And it's been 4 years since she's died.
And part of that process centers around a memorial bench that will be placed along the creek. Mark visits nearly every day.
By Pastor Steve, I have a bench in my heart for you, Anna. We will sit together and share our memories, to laugh, to cry, to hope, to restore, like millions of people do every day on a park bench.
If you or someone you know is fighting addiction, resources are available. If you'd like to contact Turning Point or Tom Vasquez, that information is posted on our web story at weareiowa.com. Elias Johnson, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
A recent research at Iowa State University shows that opioid overdose deaths in rural communities have far outpaced the rate in urban areas. Researchers say it has to do with hardships and loss in the farming economy.